no one wanted to believe that they even existed. But when the truth finally dawns, it dawns in fire. Hey, what's going on, peeps? My name is Rex and we're back with some more Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Today we're going to be talking about dragons and Draugrs, and obviously we're going to enter the Barrow. And we'll experience, I guess, close and personal what all those things mean. I took a lot of your suggestions into account. I increased the brightness a little bit, so now you should have an easier time looking at dungeons. And I also lowered the master volume of the game. I'm going to increase it for dialogues, of course, because I do want to experience dialogues. I want you guys to be able to hear it. But I'm listening, boys. I'm listening. So first order of business is we're going to find Fandel. And then we're going to do his quest, then we're going to grab the claw quest, and we'll head over to the Barrows. Thankfully, managed to see Fandel right up there in the distance. It's going to help us out. I was worried I was going to have to find him.
Riverwood's agreeable enough, I suppose, for a Nord village.
What's your problem with Sven?
He's a bard, so he says. Occasionally, he finds time to do his job here at the mill. Thinks his ballads and sonnets are going to convince Camilla Valerius to marry him. As if she would say yes. An intelligent, beautiful woman like her wouldn't fall for that nonsense. I hope.
You hope? You don't sound very sure.
I've been thinking. Maybe Camilla needs a little help seeing Sven for what he is. Could you give her this letter and say it's from Sven? I think I've matched that Nord's lack of cleverness perfectly.
Okay. There you go. So let's go ahead and tell Sven about the letter. If you do this, you get him as a companion, which is something that we're definitely going to need at Legendary to be able to deal with those Draugrs. Not a very easy dungeon at this level. Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
Well, one of us has to do something.
I said no. No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing.
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking about this. Oh. A customer. Sorry you had to hear that.
Maybe you could talk some sense into my pig-headed brother.
We'll get to that in just a second. Fandel asked me to give you this letter. Oh, no, let's not do that. I have a letter for you from Sven. If you tell her the truth, telling her that Fandel made you do this, then of course he's not going to like you and he's not going to go with you in your adventure, so it's not something you want to do. In this case, we're going to have to lie.
Another poem, I bet. He does know how to make a girl blush. What's this? If that oaf thinks all I'm going to do is stay in that filthy house of his and clean, You can tell Sven that he already has a mother. I'm not speaking to him anymore.
Oh, there you go. Breaking families. It's what we're going to be doing as a Dragonborn in this game. Fantastic. Alright, let's go ahead and find Fandel now and use him. There's a little trick that you can do with Fandel. One of the earlier companions that you can get, of course, and one of the earlier persons that you can use this trick with to get infinite archery. The thing about companions is that if you give money to a companion for whatever reason, whatever money you give them actually stays in their inventory, and because they are your companion, you can actually take that money away from them. So in this case, he teaches you archery, so you can have him teach you archery, pay him for that, and then take the money away from him, and then pay him again for him to teach you more archery. It's a little trick that you can do if you really do want to. It's kind of a gamey thing, so I guess kind of cheaty if you think about it that way, but it's something you can do.
Riverwood's agreeable enough, I suppose.
Village? I don't think Camilla will be spending any more time with Sven.
I appreciate your help. Please, take this. Some gold I've saved up from working at the mill.
There we go. Follow me. I need your help.
Lead the way.
Alright, there you go. We get our first companion. Alright, here we are, so let's get the quest.
The Riverwood Trader is everything you need in a general store.
Did something happen?
Yeah, we did have a bit of a break-in. We still have plenty to sell. Robbers were only after one thing. An ornament, solid gold in the shape of a dragon's claw.
I could help you get the claw back.
You could? I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back. Now, if you're going to get those thieves, you should head to Bleak Falls Barrow, northeast of town. Yes. So now you don't have to go, do you?
Oh, really? Well, I think your new helper here needs a guide.
No, by the 8, fine, but only to the edge of town.
There we go. We're gonna have a guide. So this is the first big quest that we get. We're gonna have to get his claw back because it's supposed to be like a family heirloom of some sort. And he even tells us where we're supposed to go. When they tell you where you're supposed to go, you of course get the icon here in your map. So now we know exactly where to go. You can kind of see it from here. There it is.
To Bleak Falls Barrow. You can see it from here, though. The mountain just over the buildings.
Bleak Falls Barrow is actually one of the few dungeons where you can find this really hardcore exteriors. Is that really it, or am I looking at someone else? Because there's multiple barrows in this section.
But traps, trolls, and who knows what else.
There we go. We don't have to listen to her babble. I'm gonna explain most things, but a few things though that I want to cover. Some people have been asking me what mods am I using and if I'm gonna be using more mods, especially those of you who want me to use ENBs. So I only have 3 mods installed in this playthrough. Let me just scare the birds away. There we go. It's always nice. I only have 3 mods installed here. One is a blood mod, makes the blood look cooler, which is just something that I appreciate, I guess. It's something that I installed when I first played, when I first really started to get into Skyrim, and I just kind of always had it, I guess. There's a map mod. You can see that it adds roads to the map, and specifically so with the kind of the outer layers of the road. You can see those little vein looking roads that scatter around. It just shows you every little bit of road that you can find in the game. It's just very useful for when you're having issues finding how to get to a place. But I particularly use it for lore reasons. I think it's kind of cool to see, like, you know, how the whole system of roads work in Skyrim. I just thought it was interesting. The other... Let me just go ahead and quick save here, but the other mod that I use might seem boring to you guys, but it's almost a necessity for me. It's a mod that prevents me from actually going above 60 frames per second. Now the thing is, there's an issue with Skyrim, whereas the frames in the game are actually tied to the physics of the game. So if you're actually running the game at like, I don't know, something crazy like 120 frames per second, the game almost believes that your character is running at twice the speed, even though your character is not like physically moving at twice the speed. The game believes you are. So if you're playing at that speed and you touch an item, the item sometimes just like flies away as if a projectile hit it. It's very weird how it works. Like if you open a door, sometimes the objects in the room just like fly out of the way and start exploding. It's kind of bizarre actually, but it's something that we with strong computers have to deal with. So I cap it at 60 so I don't have to deal with a lot of those issues. Especially because some of them do make the game unplayable. There's a lot of issues with water that happens at those levels. So we're gonna find our first group of bandits here in a tower. We're gonna go ahead and deal with them. There's a nice chest we can get, but let's start with the theme of this video, which is dragons, because we're gonna enter a barrow. So we should probably start explaining what a barrow is and who are gonna be the inhabitants of that barrow, and well, how are they even alive? Let's go ahead and kill this guys first though. And have to focus a little bit. Should have probably bought some potions. I think before I get to the barrow I should probably do some of that. Some potion hunting. Quickly dispose of these guys. Power attack, of course, been one of the most powerful things of the dual wielding set. God, we can actually level up instead of healing. Always get health. It's just so useful. At least for now it is. Let's go ahead and get some more damage. Gonna go really offensive here, which I feel like we're gonna need. There we go. So back a very, very long time ago. This is the Merethic era. So just to give you guys a small idea of how the eras work in this game. First you have the Dawn era. The Dawn era is before time was linear. You know, like the concept of like, oh, there's year 1, then there's year 2, and then 3, and then 4, and 5. Like, the Dawn era was before that. Before anyone even had a glimpse of what time was. You know, like Akatosh, the Et Ada Akatosh came to life, and he manifested into a dragon kind of being, and then time was created. He's considered to be the god of time, of course. So he was the one that created time, and after that happened, all of the other Et Adas, or spirits, kind of use his creation of time to help themselves and form, you know, bodies and become beings of existence. It's a very complicated thing, but all you have to know is that the Dawn era is supposed to be this era where like gods were very active. They created the worlds, the Draugrs created the Oblivion realms, and I guess Nirn was created and it was populated and all of that stuff happened. The actual first era where people actually started living was the MrRhexx era. The MrRhexx era literally translates to the era of elves. Of course, the word for elf in Elvish is mare, so mare ethic era. Elves dominated the land. You know, you have the snow elves on the north. You have the dark elves. Well, I guess dark elves didn't really exist back then, but you have obviously the Chimmer, which were the guys that were the dark elves before, dominating most of the northeast of Tamriel. This is gonna be a little bit difficult. I want to pull her all the way down, evade some of her arrows, because I don't want to fight her with all of the other guys on top there. Oh boy. Ow! Let's go ahead and heal up a bit. So the MrRhexx era is an era of kind of gods, of crazy magics, of insane things. It's supposed to be called the mystical era, the mythical era, almost like the prehistoric era, if that makes any sense. It's when crazy things happen. Then eventually the elves kind of banded out and formed, you know, empires, and the humans did so as well, and then the first era started happening, and, you know, so on and so forth. But what I want to explain is that in the MrRhexx era, dragons ruled over Atmora. Now, what's Atmora? Atmora is what it is believed to be a continent or island. We don't really know exactly what it is or how far it actually reaches. All we really have is a small... we only see the southern section of that piece of land, but it's supposed to be like the Antarctica of Elder Scrolls, if that makes any sense. It's like an island all far to the north that is like frozen solid. Well, in the MrRhexx era, it was actually habitable. People actually used to live there. And dragons used to rule over the men that lived there. Now, thing is, imagine yourself living with ants. It would be very difficult for you to see ants as your equal, right? I mean, ants are so tiny and powerless and insignificant, and you also happen to live about 1,000 times longer than an average ant does. So it's pretty much the same thing with dragons and humans. Dragons... Wait, Fandel is with me, right? Fuck, Fandel. Did he die already? Oh no, he's there, he's there. So it's the same thing with dragons and humans. Dragons live... Well, they're immortal for the most part. Dragons are very interesting in the sense that even Draugrs respect dragons. Like, there was a Draugr that was captured once, and he was commenting on dragons, saying that dragons are, and has always been, they are and they were. They are immortal for all terms and purposes. It's very interesting what dragons are in the story of Elder Scrolls. Apparently when you kill them, their souls don't actually leave Nirn. They stay here so they can be revived. That's actually the reason why Alduin can revive dragons, but Alduin can't necessarily revive humans as they can with dragons. Which is the whole reason why obviously you see all the Draugrs being entombed, but we'll get to that in just a bit. So, this rat just freaking died. I think I'm gonna lower the brightness just a little bit. Is that better? Do let me know if the one before was better or this one. I feel like it's a little bit too bright. It's a little harder because the recording comes out a little darker than what I'm actually seeing right now. So it's very difficult for me to gauge how dark something is, so forgive me for that. But dragons ruled over men. So as I said before, dragons saw themselves as not just physically superior, but mentally superior. Dragons are very, very smart in this world. They can obviously talk, and I mean, you've talked to Paarthurnax. He's a very smart fellow, very, very wise. So that's how dragons used to be. So they ruled over men. The thing about dragons, we can let this guy die by himself, but the thing about dragons is that they don't just consider themselves superior in every single way to humans. They're too high and mighty that they cannot be bothered with dealing with humans. Like, they wanted to rule over humans, they wanted to be superior to humans, but they did not want to be bothered creating laws at actually policing the humans. So what they did is that they created the system where they would have humans rule over humans instead of the dragons. So they created the Dragon Priest cult. So we got Snake, Snake, and Whale. Let me just go ahead and do this. Snake, Snake, and Whale. So they created the Dragon Priest cult. So what they would do is that they would let the Dragon Priests rule over humans for the dragons. You know, to keep the peace between the dragons and the humans. And the humans would, I guess, they would be taxed by the Dragon Priest, and then the tax would be sent to the dragons. Not in the terms of money, but all we know from books is that they call them tributes. So the humans would pay tribute to the dragons. I don't really know exactly what kind of tributes they were being asked for, but they were taxed in some way or fashion. And for the most part, it was a fair system. You know, in Almora, the humans and the dragons lived happily together. I mean, it was something something that was definitely not what happened later. So
What are you doing?
oh, sorry, Fandel. when the Almorans migrated into Skyrim, something happened. We don't really know exactly who was the one that caused it, whether it was a bad dragon that just hated humans, or maybe some dragon priests grew power hungry, or maybe there were just some really bad human kings that just could not deal with dragons. Whatever the case, there was not peace in Skyrim. There was bad communications between dragons and humans. The tributes were not being paid to the dragons. And eventually the dragons just got really pissed off. Humans were being treated as slaves, if what was happening. So eventually the humans rebelled. When the humans rebelled, the dragons fought back, killed a gazillion humans. The humans were becoming pretty much extinct in Skyrim. So what ended up happening is that one of the gods, this is going to be a very difficult fight. Let me see if I can prepare myself for this. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting the conversation, but this guy is not easy whatsoever. Let me just go ahead and focus here for a sec, boys. There we go. Paralyze for the win. It's so funny. Yeah, look how tanky this thing is. A little bit insane. So the trick is to attack and then back off. Attack and then back off. Getting hit by this guy. It's not what you want happen, especially because the poison will bring you down really easy. See, now I'm poisoned. Let's go ahead and have Fandel tank some of the hits here. I want to conserve as many potions as possible. That's why you need a companion. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Yeah, he's doing pretty good, though. He's doing pretty good. Companions in this game cannot die unless you do the final blow, so we don't have to worry too much about Fandel. Also, let's finish this conversation here first before we continue with the story.
You did it. You killed it. Now cut me down before anything else shows up.
Where's the golden claw?
Yes, the claw. I know how it works. The claw, the markings, the door in the Hall of Stories. I know how they all fit together. Help me down and I'll show you. You won't believe the power the Nords have hidden there.
Alright, hand over the claw first.
Does it look like I can move? You have to cut me down first.
Obviously, we don't trust him, so let's go ahead and do that.
Loose. I can feel it.
Hey, hey, hey!
You fool. Why should I share the treasure with anyone?
Let's go ahead and kill him for running away, though. He's gonna activate all the Draugrs here. Alright, we're gonna have to get him first. So, the humans were being killed by the thousands in Skyrim. So much so, in fact, that they were getting extinct. So what ended up happening is that Kyne, the actual Ada, the divine Kynareth, back then she was called Kyne by the Nordic people, she actually came and talked to Paarthurnax. So Paarthurnax at the time was the lieutenant of Alduin. He stopped believing in Alduin, however, because Alduin started proclaiming himself as a god, to the point where Paarthurnax was like, fuck that shit, man, this guy is crazy. So he started helping the humans. So Kynareth came. She decided to ask Paarthurnax to teach humans the art of the Thuum, to teach them how to shout like dragons did. Let me just go ahead and I guess I'll do swords. Hold on, I'm kind of freaking out here. There we go. I like to go pretty offensive early on. Okay, this is bad. Very, very bad. I don't want to use too much the potions though. Oh, there it is. Can finish him off. So she asked Paarthurnax to teach the humans how to use the Thuum, the voice, like the dragons did, and obviously this is what helped the humans fight the dragons back. This was a turning point for the humans in the war, and obviously we know that eventually it led to the humans using the Dragon Rend Shout to kill a lot of dragons. A lot of dragons died during that war, eventually ending with the humans using the Elder Scroll to banish Alduin from this reality into the future. Let's go ahead and quick save here. I don't want to get... Sometimes Fandel touches the trap and, you know, gets me killed, so really want to avoid that. So yeah, that's what happened. That's the story of the dragons. Now the thing is, as I said before, dragons have the curious power of being able to revive themselves. Dragons are immortal. Their souls don't actually go to the afterlife, I guess in this case being Sovngarde. So Alduin can come back and revive them. The thing is, for us humans, we do. Nords that die, their souls get sent back to Sovngarde, so when you try and revive a soul, they become enthralled. They become a hollow zombie-like creature that doesn't really have wits. Can't really talk, it's just really merely a puppet, right? Which is not what you want, especially not the priests. The priests want to be more than just mindless hollows. And of course, if you're a god, I mean, it's easier to have followers that believe in you when you... God, this guy's gonna destroy me. Yeah, no, I can't even attack. I'm gonna die. Fuck, this is difficult. It's easier as a god to have followers that believe in you when you tell them that you're gonna revive them fully, you know, as humans. You're gonna be able to think, you're gonna be able to have sex, you're gonna be able to do everything that you can do right now, but later I'll revive you with all your powers. But if you tell them, hey, yeah, I'll be able to revive you, but you're gonna look like a zombie and you're gonna behave like a zombie, then, you know, maybe people are gonna be like, yeah, you know what, let's not do that. That doesn't sound good, right? So that's the thing about Alduin. Alduin wanted to be able to revive them fully. So what they did is that they actually entombed the Draugrs with life. These people were not actually dead when they're being entombed. They were alive. And through some kind of crazy magic, and this is where our information... Oh, I'm actually clicking buttons. There we go. This is the part where we don't really have much information. There is some kind of mysterious energy that the Draugrs possess. Some kind of endless supply of health that we don't really know where it comes from. I cannot fight this guy. I'm gonna have to let Fandel take care of him. It's too much for me. Maybe I can trap him here. Maybe I can do that. Can get some stamina back. What potions do I have? Can I use the venom? It's not too bad. Yeah, Fandel can tank this shit. No problem. Oh boy. Oh boy. Jeez, man, this is a problem. This is a problem. Restless, Draugr destroyed. There's another one coming. Well, GB. As long as they attack Fandel, which this guy's not, it should be okay. I think we made a lot of noise because they keep coming. Oh, this is the last one. Oh. Zhong Yang here in chat suggested that I do healing magic. It's something that I might actually try out. It's not something that I usually do. Fuck me. Woo! Let's see if I can actually kill this guy. Fuck. Almost actually. Surprisingly close. Maybe I can do it again. Oh, got him. Got him. I will do the attack back. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Healing magic is something that we can do. I don't usually do it. When I did my stream of Skyrim 100% on Legendary, I tried it for a little bit. It really didn't seem that useful. I do need a way to use my I need to use my magic on something, right? And I will let you guys vote on that at some point. I'll do a straw poll and let you guys choose whether we're gonna be doing some conjuration, alteration, restoration, or illusion. And I mean, it's gonna be up to you guys. I guess that's my answer to you, John. I'm gonna let you guys choose, but I'll wait a little bit on that, probably on the 4th episode or so. Anyways, back to what we're talking about. We got a little distracted with all the Draugrs. Draugrs were entombed, alive, with some kind of magic attached to them. So the thing that most people don't know is that the Draugrs are not hollow. They're not mindless. They're not stupid. They can actually speak, actually. When they attack you, they speak to you in Dragon Tongue, in their language, and they tell you things like, you know, be gone, outsider, or be one with the dead, or, you know, like, leave us in peace, things like that. Like, they don't want to fight. They have, I guess, a mission to fulfill, and their mission is to give their energy to the dragon priest. So the way it works, every morning these Draugrs wake up from their tombs and they walk towards their dragon priest. Let's go ahead and quick save. They walk towards the dragon priest and they give their life energy, or at least part of it, to the priest in order to keep the dragon priest alive. They also clean the areas. They make sure that everything is cleaned, everything is taken care of, that, you know, the traps are laid out and all of that good stuff. Like, they're actually not stupid whatsoever, which I think is very interesting. But also, back to the life energy that they're giving to the priest. They're actually giving their own life to the priest, keeping the priest alive. But we don't really know exactly where this energy is coming from, whether it's some kind of perpetual life energy that they keep refilling. We know that they refill when they sleep, but we don't know how it's doing that, you know. I mean, we already know of perpetual energy from the Dwemer. They actually have a way of creating perpetual energy, which is very interesting, but not necessarily from the Draugrs, especially not all the way back to, you know, the Merethic era. Let me just go ahead and wake this guy up and I guess kill him. Oh, Fandel. That could actually kill him. It's activated by me.
On your side. Hey, be careful.
So, finish this guy's off. Oh boy. Not doing too good here. Not doing too good. Letting Fandel take all the blame. Cool, cool. Draugrs are just very interesting, I guess, in general, because of that. If the Draugrs were to die, like if the Nords that were entombed were to die, their souls would be sent to Sovngarde, which would mean that Alduin wouldn't be able to revive them. So they devised this entire way of keeping themselves alive by using the Nords' servants to fuel them with energy every night and every day for thousands of years, to make sure that their soul and their bodies would be kept intact, so that when Alduin would return, they could revive them. Very, very interesting stuff. It's very curious how all of this works. It's really cool. But the interesting thing is there's actually a book that a person here in Skyrim actually wrote, where he lived with the Draugr for a while. He set up on this adventure where he would live with them and commune with them, or at least try to, at least. And the interesting thing that he noted was that the Draugrs at some point just kind of gave up on attacking him. So at first they were attacking him, kind of defending their lair from, you know, any outside intruders or whatever. But at some point they realized that this person didn't mean them any harm. They weren't actually... The person here wasn't actually trying to kill them, wasn't actually trying to harm the priest. So eventually the Draugrs just kind of give up. They thought to themselves, hey, this guy is not a... He's not a threat to us, like he's not trying to kill us all, so let's just stop attacking him. And that's interesting, right? That's a sense of logic. They're only really trying to attack me and kill me because of self-preservation, but there's no... Like, there's no mindlessness going on here, which is very cool. I find very, very cool. He was also the guy that wrote about, you know, the... Oh. Freaking skeleton. Kind of scared me there, but yeah, it's all just very, very interesting stuff. Now, next question. Hey Rex, by Green Sev, which side do you prefer in the Civil War? The Civil War is... I guess we're gonna get political here in just a minute, but the thing about Civil War is that, so in the Great War, the Empire lost, the elves won, and the elves, I mean, could have easily just destroyed the Empire. I mean, they could have just killed everybody, made all the humans slaves, burned the cities, and just take over the world, but they didn't. Instead of doing that, they decided to just be like, alright, look, you know, you guys have to pay us some tax money, you know, give us some, you know, we'll have embassies, we'll have embassies everywhere on the, on Tamriel. You guys are gonna pay us some tax, and, you know, we'll kind of rule over you, and you guys are gonna have to talk to us about whatever you guys want to do, but, you know, we're gonna let you guys be free. The only thing, though, is that you're not allowed to pray to this elf killer god, because that's uncool. You guys can't just, like, come out with a random god and just pray to it. Like, that's insane, man. And that's what they did. Now, the thing about it is, like, that's what war is, you know. You lost the war, so you had to surrender, and you had to accept these terms. I feel like it's fair. So when it comes down to it, I feel like the sole reason for the Stormcloaks to be fighting doesn't seem to be very logical. Like, they fought a fair war and they lost, and now this is what you have to deal with, right? And now they don't like it. Like, it's very silly. And obviously I think the main thing, though, is that the war itself does weaken the Empire considerably. You know, we shouldn't be fighting together. We shouldn't be fighting against each other. We should be fighting together. We should be getting stronger, bigger, you know, working our economy, like all of that stuff. But instead, they're promoting violence between each other, fighting the Empire, weakening it. And a lot of people say that Ulfric obviously has that sense of self-promotion. He's really just doing it to increase his stance within the mood, within Skyrim. He wants to be High King, and that's why he's doing it. And I mean, there's some truth to that. I really don't think that's the case necessarily, but there is some truth to that. I think the biggest point is what do you want to do? You know, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to make Skyrim a better place? Because if you want to make Skyrim a better place, then probably what you gotta do is side with the Empire, you know? Because at some point there's gonna be another war with the elves, and if you want to win, then you kind of have to make sure that the Empire is strong enough for that. So that's my take on it. I guess I do side with the Empire. When it comes down to the actual game, like in-game stuff, I tend to play with the Stormcloaks, because I think the story, you know, fighting for the underdog tends to be more fun than fighting for the government or whatever, you know. Ooh, so, you know, that's I guess my take. When it comes to the game, I just like playing with the Stormcloak, but I guess it makes more sense to fight with the Empire on this one. Hey, Druggy. So the Draugrs, there is, I believe, 5 different types of Draugrs in terms of, you know, how powerful they are. They scale in 5 different ways, and if you're not sure how it works, let me just go ahead and level up here. Draugrs level up depending on your level, so the higher your level is, the more powerful Draugrs you will encounter. We should probably start focusing a little bit more on defense, though. Screw that. Hashtag yellow. The higher your level, the higher the level of Draugrs that you're going to be fighting. So first of all, this is a normal Draugr, which are the guys that we're fighting. You know, warrior Draugrs, archer Draugrs, warlock Draugrs, whatever you want to call them. The next level is the restless Draugr, which we did fought one, which was the guy that was casting frostbite on us. They are a higher level and have more HP, more stamina, and sometimes cast spells. So it's something that you want to avoid if you don't feel strong enough. The next level is the Draugr White, then is the Draugr Scourge, then is the Draugr Overlord, and I am going to die. I have no stamina here. Let's get in some stamina here so I can run away. There we go. It's a lot of cat and mouse here, but yeah, so then it is the Overlord, and then it's the Death Lord. It's a very confusing system because it's just the way Skyrim catalogs enemies. It's very, very confusing. So the way it works is that these are the normal enemies, and you can find these type of Draugrs, the ones that just explained to you, the Scourge and the White and the Death Lord, Overlord. You can find those at any dungeon, at any location, as long as you are on that level, you know, if you're high level enough for them to appear. The thing is, there is a very specific sect of boss Draugrs that only spawn usually in boss areas, so like, you know, in a ward wall or on a very specific location that's designed for bosses or at the end of dungeons, right? Now these ones are what I guess I would consider them the Death Lords. So you have like Draugr Death Lord, which I did say was the highest level of normal Draugrs that you can find, but you can also find them at level 7 on boss areas. I know, it's very confusing. And then you have the, I guess it's the White Lords, then there's the Scorched Lords, then there is the Overlord, I think it's the Death Overlord, and then there's the, it's very complicated, I know. It doesn't matter, I just wanted to explain a little bit how that works, but it's very confusing because as far as the normal Draugrs are concerned, the strongest one is the Death Lord, and is preceded by the Overlord. But as far as bosses are concerned, the most powerful one is the Death Overlord, and the one that precedes it is the, you know, Death Lord. So it's very confusing in that sense, like they reversed it or something. It's weird. Anyways, before we proceed, I want to explain a little bit how the pantheon of the ancient Nordics work. So as you can see here, we got some dragon priests. Now this one is the dragon priest. This, I guess it's just the dragon priest. This is, oh boy, this is the owl priest. This is it the same one? No. What is this one? It's like a crow, but there's no crow god. Oh, what is this one? Can't really tell. Oh, now I feel like a noob. Is that a wolf? It's not a wolf. I think the wolf is a female, so you can see clearly the owl there. Not sure what that one is. I guess you guys can tell them in the comments. It's the same one here. This is the moth priest. Don't confuse them as the ones that read Elder Scrolls. They're completely different. Another owl. And I guess dragon. So back in the Merethic era, the ancient Nords, I guess the Admorans is what you should call them. The Admorans believed in animal deities. They believed in the god of the dragon god, the moth god, the wolf god, the whale god, all of those animals that they considered to be, I guess, gods to them. And there really isn't that much information on them, so for the most part, they're really not important. We only really get to see them in these ancient tombs, but other than that, they really have no significance. Eventually, by the middle of the first era, they started to stop believing in these animal deities, and they moved into more humanoid entities like Shor and Soon and Kine and you know, like actual. They started believing in the actual Ed-Adas and whatever human representation that they would take on, and then they dropped the animal deities. But some of these animal deities do have powers according to the lore, and those powers were moved towards the next version of the pantheon. It's very, very confusing stuff. All you have to know is that they believed in some animal gods, and eventually they moved into the new ones. I don't know if there's really anything interesting necessarily. I mean, the whale god, oh my god, Sven, Jesus Christ. I want to get that checked, buddy. The Well God is probably one of the most interesting ones because you actually get to see him in Sovngarde. It's soon. And he's being represented by the well. He protects the Sovngarde in this whalebone bridge. I did grab the golden clock, cool. So bear, moth, and owl. You have to move each one once, and it'll do it itself. But yeah, so some of these gods did move to the next pantheon, but for the most part, they're not really that interesting. In this pantheon, as I said on the last episode, the leader was Alduin. He was the chief, I guess, aspect, much like in the other pantheons. So yeah, so they believed in animals, then they started believing in the Ed-Adas. So, you know, Shor, Soon, as I said, Kine. And then eventually, what ended up happening is Saint Alicia, and we will talk more about her. She combined the Nordic pantheon with the Elvish pantheon and created the 8 divines. So that's how the pantheons worked. She combined both Nordic and Elvish into the 8 divines, and that's why everyone believes in the 8 divines. Welcome to the Wart Wall. We'll talk more about shouts, what they represent, how they even work, you know. We'll explain all that probably on the next episode. We'll figure it out.
Would you look at that?
Would you? This battle is going to be very, very interesting. And here we have a Draugr overlord. So as I said, these are considered to be the toughest Draugr type that you can get as far as the normal Draugrs are concerned, but they also happen to be the very first boss type Draugr that you can find. So, you know, the system is very confusing, but it does make sense in some way, I suppose. Let's try and cheese him out a little bit. Can't really fight him straight on. He would destroy us. Since I'm a red guard, I do happen to have the ability Adrenaline Rush. So what it does is it gives me a surge of adrenaline, I guess. It makes my stamina regenerate extremely fast. Now, it doesn't give me adrenaline, it just increases my regeneration. So if I were to have effects that would increase my regeneration, like a potion or something, and then I would use my Adrenaline Rush, it would actually scale with the potion. So it would increase it even further, right? And this is important to note because if you're a vampire and you're in the day and your stamina doesn't regenerate, then Adrenaline Rush is not going to do anything for you, because it would multiply your regeneration, but it doesn't actually give you any, if that makes any sense. I hope that explained myself properly there, but it's very important to note. I still haven't decided whether we're going to be a vampire, we're going to be a werewolf, or what's going to happen there. I mean, we're going to do every quest, so I guess we're probably going to end up being both at some point or another. Yeah, it doesn't really matter just yet. Oh boy, that was pretty close there. Alright, our first Draugr boss has been destroyed. We get the Dragonstone. Pretty cool stuff, boys. Pretty cool stuff. So in here it reads, "Here lies the Guardian, Keeper of Dragonstone, and the force of unending rage and darkness." That's what the stone says in Dragon Tongue. Let's go ahead and pick it up. There we go, boys. Our first dungeon has been completed. I hope you all enjoyed it. Do let me know if the brightness is to your liking and if the sound levels are to your liking. Let's go ahead and loot this chest. There's actually 3 chests, believe it or not, in this section. It's very, they're very sneaky with the way they put their chests in this game. You can find obviously one right there in the middle of the ward wall. There's also another one up here, a little bit hidden. Not too hidden, but just a little bit. But then there's the other one that is very well hidden. It's actually behind the wart wall. Right over here. It's a little bit of a help for beginners to get some extra equipment, some extra items to sell. Very, very useful. There we go. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all are having fun. Tomorrow we will go to Whiterun, which is our first big city. We'll explore a little bit. We'll talk more about, you know, how the city was founded. Probably even mention the Night of Tears. We'll probably cover all of that tomorrow. Keep sending me your questions, guys. I am happy to answer them. I'll see you guys next time.